In the dynamic world of motorsports, change is the only constant, and NASCAR has once again proven its commitment to innovation and progress. In a surprising announcement, the iconic racing organization has unveiled a series of abrupt changes that promise to reshape the landscape of the sport. From competition formats to regulations and perhaps even the fan experience, NASCAR is embarking on a new chapter that is poised to captivate enthusiasts and spark discussions across the racing community. So how will fans feel about this change? Does this change cause people to change their minds? Let's try to find out. As NASCAR continues its voyage of transformation, this unexpected turn of events comes as a demonstration of the organization's readiness to adapt to the ever-changing demands of the sport and its audience. Fans are keen to learn the specifics and consequences of what lies ahead on the racetrack as a result of the unexpected nature of these developments, which has generated fascination and guesswork among the fans. Understanding the newly announced revisions, investigate the reasoning behind the bold decisions made by NASCAR, and look into how these changes may alter the dynamics of racing. The possible impact of these alterations from the point of view of both drivers and spectators is different. The fact that motorsport is maybe the most costly sport in the world to compete in is not a secret, and NASCAR is definitely not an exception to this rule. When it comes to the financial aspect of the game, the team is reliant on sponsors. A team has a responsibility to its sponsors, and one of the most essential obligations that they have is to feature the sponsors in some form throughout the race day. As a result of the fact that this might become challenging when a team has plenty of sponsors, NASCAR came up with certain additional regulations in order to provide more visibility for sponsors. However, some fans are confused, while some are praising the change. During race weekends, it's common practice for teams to display their sponsors on the race cars. However, this might be a bit of a challenge for teams who only have one or two cars that are used on a full-time basis. On the other hand, things will be different this year since all of the participants will have electronic boards facing the track, which will allow sponsors to display their products. However, there are a great deal of regulations about this. An eminent writer covering NASCAR, Bob Pockrass, recently published a tweet on his X account in which he outlined the regulations that teams are required to stick to as they apply to the electronic board. When it comes to this particular issue, NASCAR has established a comprehensive set of rules and regulations. A couple of the guidelines that the organization has established are that reflective compounds will not be permitted on the boards, and that the material must be pre-approved by NASCAR before it can be displayed. The height of the display cannot exceed 42 inches, and it must not extend beyond the end points of the pit cart. The maximum height that is permissible is 42 inches. Additionally, it's not permitted to be utilized as a source of collimated light. It must remain in static display mode under conditions of a green flag, in order to prevent drivers from becoming distracted. Here are the rules for electronic displays teams can have on their pit boxes facing the track. Pockrass tweeted as he shared a picture of the rules. Nevertheless, not all fans have a complete understanding of the philosophy behind it. Several people expressed their misunderstanding of the situation in the comments area of the website. Despite the fact that the new regulations were met with both acclaim and criticism, the predominant sentiment was one of being uncertain about them. As Bob Pockrass often engages in the conversations with fans, a fan asked for additional information by saying, "Explain more." He replied, teams will be allowed to have electronic screens or LED boards on their pit boxes, a way to give sponsors more exposure during a race. When it comes to NASCAR, such a concept is very new, and fans have no idea what it might look like in practice. A few of them inquired about instances of other racing events that were conducting the same thing. Concerned about the final appearance of these, one user inquired about their interest in the matter. The modifications that NASCAR has implemented are not limited to this. In addition, they have developed a new model for qualifying. Teams and drivers will make preparations to fly to the Los Angeles Coliseum for the Busch Light Clash, which is the unofficial season opener event. At the same time as the teams are getting ready for the Clash, NASCAR has announced the new regulations that will control the qualifying process for the time trials. There will be no impact on the quickest drivers qualifying from Groups A and B as a result of the suggested alteration or adjustment to the regulation. On the other hand, the most significant change that will occur this season is the starting position of drivers who are ranked 11 to 40. The Daytona 500, on the other hand, is an exception to this rule because it has its own set of qualifying requirements. An official from NASCAR has stated that the latest adjustments were implemented in response to comments received from the industry. The fact that the track conditions were constantly shifting throughout the qualifying sessions was another reason why these additional adjustments were needed, as they said. The use of wet tires was reinstated on all road courses and the majority of ovals that were less than 1 mile in length in the year 2024. This was another significant advance. In response to the announcement of the new rule for qualifying races, the NASCAR community and fans were quick to express their dissatisfaction with this significant change on the internet. They referred to it as a disappointment for the NASCAR races. Fans have voiced their feelings over the new adjustments that have been implemented for the qualification process, and it goes without saying that they were not anticipating the new alterations that have been suggested. A significant number of people went to X in order to voice their ideas and perspectives about the matter. This new regulation was referred to as an entertainment gimmick by one of the users, who was quick to point out the best qualifying method, which was a hit back in the day during the time period in question. Qualifying doesn't need entertainment gimmicks. Go back to single car, 1 or 2 laps depending on the track, and line them up in order by time. Additionally, the subsequent user expressed a desire to reintroduce the previous methods of qualification, particularly the 3-day racing competition. As a form of criticism directed at NASCAR, he stated, "Bring back 3-day race events. You have basically stolen the weekend from race fans." Apart from these crucial changes, NASCAR has been in the headlines because of its debut in electric vehicle. For some time now, the National Association for Stock Car Automobiles, or NASCAR, has been working on developing an electric racing car that is fashioned like a crossover. A photograph of the new electric car was actually shared on social media over the off-season, which led to inquiries regarding whether or not the sport would be prepared to make an announcement on it in the near future. It would appear that this is the situation going into the 2024 season, according to a report that was just released. As stated by Kickin' the Tires, the new electric vehicle race car being developed by NASCAR will make its premiere at the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum in a little under 2 weeks. If this were to happen, it would be the very first time that NASCAR would officially enter the realm of electric cars. According to statements made by Steve O'Donnell, Chief Operating Officer of NASCAR, said November that it is possible that it will not be used for racing but may be presented at some events in 2024. Considering that the production of electric cars has expanded over the course of the past several years, this is a significant achievement for the aforementioned sport. According to O'Donnell, NASCAR does not currently have any plans to race with them at this time. However, it may be very interesting to observe how things develop. It is possible that in the future the sport may be able to compete with electric cars. However, this will most likely depend on a number of unseen elements. So, how's this seismic shift of excitement in the world of NASCAR? Racing enthusiasts are currently caught in the whirlwind of change, eagerly awaiting the impact of a recent announcement. As the racing landscape transforms, one fact becomes clear: NASCAR isn't just a sport. It's a dynamic spectacle, captivating fans globally. The future promises endless possibilities. Curious about the upcoming thrills? Join us on this exhilarating journey. Don't miss out. Like, share, and subscribe for an exclusive pass to the unfolding saga of the most recent NASCAR updates.